Media blackout. Homicidal far-left radical kills 18-year-old Republican Kyler Ellingson over his political views. ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, and NBC silent. Not surprising that they're not going to cover it. This is an actual hate crime that we've seen. Nobody talks about it, and it's courtesy of Joe Biden.
Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans represent an extremism that threatens the very foundations of our republic. That the Republican Party today is dominated, driven, and intimidated by Donald Trump and the MAGA Republicans. And that is a threat to this country.
I'm sorry, we've seen the most divisive, hateful, nasty, evil speech ever given by any politician in American history. Switch out MAGA for Jew, and boom, you got a Hitler speech. And the most dictator speech from the words, from the look of it. Joe Biden is everything they accused Trump of. Being a dictator, being divisive,
Nazi fags.
Literally inciting violence. I said people are going to die from this. I was hoping I was wrong, but after hearing that speech, I'm like, people are going to die.
Trump and the extreme MAGA Republicans quote a clear and present danger to our democracy.
I know what happened. We've already seen Trump supporters murdered in cold blood by left-wing activists. We've seen them beaten and brutalized, coming out of the voting booth even in 2016 and stuff. The left has always been the party of violence. We've seen it with Antifa, BLM. There he is left. On the left was the murderer. On the right was the 18-year-old kid who was murdered by him. And he flat out admitted that it was a hate crime, that it was a politically motivated. On Sunday, 18-year-old Kyler Ellingson was struck and killed by a vehicle by 41-year-old Shannon Brand in a politically motivated murder in North Dakota. The teen was attending a street dance in McHenry, North Dakota. Brand called 911 after fleeing the incident, telling the dispatcher that Ellington was part of a Republican extremist group. I wonder where he heard that. I wonder where he would have that fear that, oh no, they are bad, they're going to hurt me. I wonder where he got that from. According to the affidavit, Ellingson called his mom and said he was being chased by Brand and needed help. Brand confessed to killing the 18-year-old because of his politics, hate crime, literally the definition of one. The murder of Kyler Ellingson came 2 weeks after Joe Biden's demonic speech, absolutely demonic, had the red and everything, Philadelphia, where he declared war against Republicans, conservatives, patriots, and Trump supporters. Yep, he did. Keep saying, not all Republicans, not all. Well, the overwhelming vast majority of Republicans support Trump. We had 78.7% of the students in the Student Action Summit, which is hosted by Charlie Kirk, said they would support Trump. He knows what he's doing. He's demonizing all conservatives. He knows what he's doing, but when he's directly asked about it, of course, you got to be like, oh, no, not all of them. Of course, just the MAGA ones, just the MAGA. Shannon Brandt was released on $50,000 bond on Tuesday. He never even should have had any kind of bail or anything. Brandt was charged with vehicle homicide and leaving the scene of a deadly accident. Not an accident. According to Newsbusters, ABC, CBS, CNN, MSNBC dedicated 0 seconds on the politically motivated murder by far-left radical Shannon Brandt. Far more than 3 days now, left-wing TV networks have refused to report on the politically motivated killing of an 18-year-old Kyler Ellingson, a conservative, and a 41-year-old Shannon Brand in North Dakota. A review of news coverage of left-wing broadcast, you know them, and cable outlets revealed that none of these networks have given the attack even 1 second of their time. It was Fox News and Newsmax covered the incident on Tuesday during the 7 p.m. Eastern hour. In the current media environment where concerns over political violence are remarkably high, the silence of the establishment news media is deafening. It really does look like their refusal to cover the attack is both Brandt's and his victim's politics. Brandt claimed Ellingson was a Republican extremist, echoing language used by President Biden during a recent speech in which he declared Trump voters were extremist threat to the nation. Meanwhile, CBS News chief Washington correspondent Major Garrett has been writing political fan fiction featuring Republicans violently murdering Democrats. That's very weird. If Garrett gets a free moment in between TV interviews, plugging his new book, and here's an opportunity for him to report on a politically motivated killing that actually happened. There's a GoFundMe set up for Kayla Ellingson. Yeah, I said after the famous red speech, as they're calling it, from former President Joe Biden, that there's going to be violence. That was a direct invitation for violence. That's okay to have violence towards Trump supporters because they're evil. They're horrible people. They're a threat. They're going to hurt you and your family. They're evil. They're the bad guys. They're saying that over and over and over and over again. He just recently, even after this, was doubling down on the Republicans or the extremists. They had the I always forget her name. She pretty much is the Black Jen Psaki. It's the same exact thing. Their press secretary said that anyone who disagrees with us is an extremist.
You see majority of Americans who disagree. And so when you are not with where majority of Americans are, then, you know, that is extreme. That is an extreme way of thinking.
I've never heard a more psycho statement in my life. You disagree with us, you're an extremist? It's one of the great parts of America. You can agree to disagree. You can have your own opinion, free speech. This is the most evil dictator-like administration that America has ever seen by far. Everything they accuse Trump of, Biden is. He's the most divisive, evil, horrible, corrupt man. He is a bad person. He is a bad guy. He is a villain. Hopefully when we take over, when Republicans take over, they need to go after them full force. Arrest some people, throw them in jail because a lot of corruption is going on, a lot of evil is going on, inciting violence. We've seen that from Maxine Waters.
What should protesters do?
Well, we got to stay on the street, and we've got to get more active. We've got to get more confrontational. We've got to make sure that they know that we mean business.
We've seen people like Kamala Harris encourage the riots that we've seen from left-wingers in 2020.
That's right. But they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop. And they're not, this is a movement, I'm telling you. They're not going to stop. And everyone beware, because they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day. And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that this isn't, they're not going to let up, and they should not.
This is absolutely a hate crime. This guy should be rotting in prison for the rest of his life. Not even sorry for what he's done. We've heard him talk before, kind of saying like, yeah, look, I murdered him. He's a Republican extremist. What are you going to do? You know, I had to keep myself safe. He's an evil human being. He is a villain. He's a bad guy. He should not be out walking about. He should be rotting away. Taking an innocent kid's life, 18 years old. 18. He murdered them just because they had a political difference. That was a left-winger murdering a Republican, murdering a conservative because he thought different. And hey, Joe Biden said they're evil. Joe Biden said they're extremist. I'm going to serve my country by taking them out. And I said that former Vice President Joe Biden's going to cause violence. He's an evil man. And we got to stand up for it. Just watch your back out there if you're a Republican, if you're a conservative. It's just, fight for our country, run for local office, speak out, protect yourself, arm yourself, learn how to use a gun. I'm very pro Second Amendment. I don't go anywhere without carry because you never know what's going to be out there nowadays. Now we're going to see full-on violence. It's going to get worse and worse, unfortunately. I hate to say that, but it is going to get worse. Just learn how to protect yourselves, watch each other's backs. We really got to do that as conservatives, specifically Trump supporters. Got to watch each other's backs, be out there, be on the lookout, and just stay safe, everyone. Make sure you check the description below. Check out all my socials. Follow me on Truth, on GETTR. You guys can see that in the background. All over the place except for Twitter. I'm banned, and that's okay. I don't care. I got a recent suspension from YouTube, so I've been doing exclusive videos on Rumble, doing some on YouTube. I'm gonna, ride it down until I'm inevitably permanently banned, but it's just whatever it is. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. That helps the algorithm so much. I mean, a lot of people are like, how can I help? How can I get involved? I'm not asking for money, man. Just like and subscribe. That helps more than you know. Comment below also helps the algorithm, helps the video. I appreciate it. I'll see you Patriots next time. Peace out.